So good morning, CSL Palm Desert. We're so glad to see you here. Charles?
Hey, good morning, Dr. Joe.
How's week 95?
Oh, it's great. Huh? Over the moon.
Yeah. Someone said it was March 97th, something like that.
March went on forever.
Yeah, March went on forever.
You know, it's good. You know, I had a little bit of a lull in the middle of the week, but I'm feeling a lot better now.
I'm going to talk about that in today's service.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, so welcome. We're glad you're here. Daniel Nahmod is going to be doing the music for us today. We got an entire service planned for you. It's going to be a wonderful experience. So let's head off and hit Daniel Nahmod first. Go, Daniel.
All right.
Hello, Palm Desert. This is Daniel Nahmod. I'm here in my home studio over in Orange County. I'm sorry I can't be there with you in person, but I thought I'd sing you a couple songs anyway. Here's the first one that comes to mind today. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. I think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Yeah. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be all right, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do, yeah. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Of course, Daniel always does such a great job for us. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
So announcements.
Hey, 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 announcements.
What time are we meeting every day?
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands, 10 o'clock. We're
10 a.m.
10 o'clock.
Pacific time.
Yes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're
Monday,
going
Wednesday,
to teach?
Friday. Spiritual economics. We just did it here at the center over the last couple of months, but we decided that during this time it would be particularly appropriate to offer it virtually, so everybody can have another sustainer, something to help buoy you during this time. It's a wonderful book, a wonderful material based on the book by Eric Butterworth, Spiritual Economics. So I encourage you to go out, get the book if you don't already have it, and join me at 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's going to be a wonderful adventure.
Great. 10 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, we'll do another conversation with Reverend Charles and myself. And then on Thursday, we've got a concert. I'm not sure which guest artist we're going to use, but on Thursday at 10 o'clock, we'll do a concert.
Love it.
One more announcement for you. We are going to bring this down to one service on Sunday. We don't need to broadcast at 9 and 11, but we're going to broadcast one. And what time do you think that's going to be?
10 o'clock.
There we go. It's the 10 o'clock show every day here at the Center for Spiritual Living. There will be some supplementary offerings that we're going to be kicking up and starting with some of our other ministers and practitioners.
Yep.
And you can get that information on the website. That information will be available on the website. So that's it for announcements. So next up is meditation. Charles, take it away.
Here we go. All right, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. It's a good day. Let's join together in saying our mission statement, shall we? Here we go. We are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time. So let's enter into our time of meditation by taking a deep breath together. And one more, and with the breath simply becoming more still. I'm grateful for this morning, and as I know as we enter into this time of sacred stillness, that there's a wonderful communion that happens with the Holy Spirit that is within each one of us. That a simpleness is achieved, a clarity, that if there are questions dancing on your heart, answers come with ease and with grace. Challenge is in front of you that you are informed by that whole Spirit of God today, right now, how to meet that challenge with solution, with power, with spiritual poise. That we come into an alignment with the truth of who we are this morning. That we are blessed mightily in all ways. And that our cup of joy continues to be filled up and run over. As we sit in the glory of God together this morning.
We can change the world one heart at a time. And we can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you. You're a part of me, and we can change the world one heart at a time, and we can change the world one heart at a time.
There is only one power and one presence. that I call life. In its purest, in its essence, called by many names, one truth: life is. In its fullness, in its wholeness, in all of its power and its glory, that is the life of each of us. All of the power, all of the glory, all of the majesty, all of the presence, the essence of purity is the life that we are living right now. Each of us, myself, this entire community, individually and as a whole, we are blessed today. And I speak my word, this word now, and invite you to join with me in knowing that right where we are today, we are blessed, that we see a blessing. We feel a blessing. We're aware of what's really happening, that we discipline our mind and our heart to put our attention on what's really going on, and that is that there is a harmony playing itself out, known as life, that still holds us at its center. And we can find a blessing today. We find a blessing today. We welcome the words that come forth from Dr. Joe and know that it blesses us somehow as well as he delivers that divine inspiration. That out of this time that we share together this morning, we know something more. Something about our truth, something about our spiritual magnificence, something about our good. I'm grateful for this service today and the way that it touches each one of us. That a spiritual revolution can take place inside each of us today. That we see with new eyes, that we're renewed from within by the Holy Spirit. See with new eyes, hear with new ears, feel with new hands, recognize with a freshened heart. I'm grateful for the word, for our collective agreement, for the beauty of this morning, for the music and the message. I'm grateful for it. I let it be. I call it good, and so it is. Amen.
In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I awake in this holy silence. I hear all that has never been said, and right here in this holy silence we find God when we find ourselves. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So we awake in this holy silence. We hear all that needs to be said, and right here in this holy silence we find God when we find ourselves. And I find God when I find myself. And you find God when you find yourself. So take a deep breath in. Let's sing this song together. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. And in this unity, we can live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. We're going to slow it down right here. And in this unity, we can live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. One more time, let's sing it out. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. And in this unity, we can live in harmony, and peace has come, 'cause we are one. And peace has come, 'cause we are one.
When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love, oh love, into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. And I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So thank you for my thank you for my empty hands.
So thank you very much, Daniel. It's so nice to have him here. If you haven't gone on to Facebook, he does a Facebook Live concert, or has been for the past 15 days. So I think it's like 6:30 at night. Check it out if you'd like to see Daniel there. All right, so my talk today. My talk is titled Here to Here. I find myself wanting to go from here to there, but there is no there to go to. And I also find myself going from here to here and having a debate with myself about what am I listening to? How am I embodying it? So I just wrote this title down, going from here to here, because that's all I feel like I'm doing. I'm just going here to here, and I can't go there. I can only stay here. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So what I want to talk to you about is how we're going to create an equation to work into that allows us to go from here to here, and then from here to there, wherever that next thing may be in our minds, after all this is said and done. Before I go into that, I want to talk to you briefly about what Charles mentioned. He and I mentioned at the very beginning today. A lot of people don't understand, and I myself am still looking at this, that we're going through an ebb and flow of emotions. And it was funny because on Tuesday of this week, I talked to a lot of my friends, and a lot of my friends were feeling kind of low, and it hit Tuesday. It didn't hit Monday. It wasn't hitting Sunday, but some of us woke up on Tuesday morning, and a lot of people, and by social media feed, a lot of us felt just kind of down. Our energy was down, and the situation was weighing very heavy on our shoulders. And so I want to talk about that briefly because I think when I look at it, we're all grieving. When the shock of something wears off, our emotions tend to surface in new ways. And I think at the beginning of this whole thing, we were in a state of shock, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And it seemed pretty easy, and it was going along quite a bit. And then for some reason, a lot of us woke up on Tuesday morning, and maybe you did, or maybe it was later in the week, but there was a part of us that felt like something had been taken away. And I think it's actually a phase of grieving. We've moved out of shock, and now we're moving into the reality of what it feels like to be sheltered in and to be inundated with these statistics and numbers and the situation in and of itself. So I just want to address that first to say that I think, you're perfectly normal. What's really nice is that I'm normal, you're normal, we're all normal. There is no guidebook for us to use during this time other than our faith and our adherence to principle. Those are the things that will change us, okay? So, getting back to my talk, from here to here. All right, thought plus feeling equals manifestation. We know this. Thought plus feeling equals manifestation. You can't have one plus the other. You have to have both things in order to have the manifestation. We can speak we can speak words until we are blue in the face, and not a thing will manifest unless we have feeling behind it. Just remember, right now we have the opportunity to speak our truth, but you also have to feel your truth. Again, from here to here, it's a great distance. Sometimes I'm able to articulate my truth through principle, but sometimes my heart is hurting because there's a part of me that has clung on to a certain situation or a certain statistic or something that someone said, or that fact that one of my friends or someone I know is ill at the time, or I feel like I'm coughing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm coughing. Oh my God, I'm doing this. And suddenly I run through all the symptoms in my mind, and I start doing this check in myself. So if you're anything like me, which I think a lot of people are, many times we have to be careful where we're putting our feelings, right? Because intellectually, I know, I am the health of God. I am the mind of God. I am God manifesting in human form. I know that God's got this. I know that throughout the chaos of all of this, there is a presence and a power that's leading us into something greater. I know that that's happening up here, but sometimes I forget to tell this, and this doesn't buy in as quickly. So I have to remember that I'm really trying to not convince my head, because I think my head knows this on a faith basis, but my heart is still debating with that because of the pain and the grief that I'm feeling. So let's know that our thought plus a feeling. So now I have to work on my feelings of success, my feelings around health, my feelings around relationships, my feelings around abundance and security. And let's face it, sometimes our feelings can be overwhelming, and it actually takes the intellect and, literally writes down on top of it and changes our whole emotional body. But let's just know, thought plus feeling equals manifestation. What is my thought? Now I need to add the feeling. Be very careful to define the thought, careful to define the feeling, so that my manifestation will be clear. Follow your heart, and the power of the infinite law and love will carry you through all of life. This is Dr. Holmes. This is classic Dr. Holmes. Follow your heart and the power of infinite law, and this will carry you all through your life. So I have to remember to remember. I always say remind. I have to R-E-M. I have to remind myself that the infinite law, that there's this law of intelligence that is working through all of this. Contrary to what I hear people say, this virus, this situation that we're in, is not a punishment for anything. This is not it's driving me crazy that I keep hearing people talk about how this is some sort of a punishment for some types of behavior. To me, that's crazy. We live in a law of cause and effect. What I have to remember is that there is a power of infinite law, and when I follow that all through my life, when I know that God is doing what God does, and that a healing is on its way, a manifestation of health is on its way, it's moving toward me as I move toward it, when I allow myself to break into that consciousnness and begin to accept that in my heart, it begins to manifest. Everything is governed by law. The law is written in our own hearts, and we are governed by law. This is spiritual laws. Everything is governed by law. Going back to the basics, Dr. Ernest Holmes, everything is governed by law. I have pulled out my Raymond Hollywell working with the 11 spiritual laws, and I have found it to be so beneficial. I can just grab any page or any paragraph or sentence in the book, and there's something that pulls me into recognizing something about the spiritual laws that I've just forgotten, that I just let go by the wayside, and then when that happens, that's when the fear creeps in. But everything is governed by law. That law is written in our own hearts. I know in my heart of hearts, beyond the debate of the emotional things that are happening, I know in my heart of hearts that we will move through this. I said that at the onset of this thing. At the very onset of this, that last Sunday that we all met together, I said, let's not panic. Let's do, I remember it was just, at the time it was just wash your hands. That's what everybody was talking about. Just wash your hands. And I remember that was the thing. Whatever they tell us to do, let's just do it. Let's not panic. We're going to be okay. Let's just keep doing what they tell us to do. And so now I just know that now spiritual law is working with science, because spiritual law is science. And when we marry those two together, we can walk through this healing. Next thing. Almost. There we go. Call it conscience, intuition, or what we will. It is there. No one need go unguided through life, for all are divine at the center, and all are images of the Most High. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut and your intuition. Your intuition is going to guide us through all of these things. Make decisions based on this intuitive knowing that you are surrounded by this infinite light, this infinite intelligence. Don't go into spiritual arrogance. We have to use science and we have to use spiritual law. So we're marrying those two together. But intuitively, I know that I'm okay, my family will be okay, they are okay, the center's okay, Reverend Charles, Elizabeth, William, Jerry Lynn, the musicians, we're all moving into our state of having this become a situation where we will remain okay. It's just keeping ourselves balanced while we do this. I remember thinking that, I remember as a kid we would play on the teeter-totter, right? And the teeter-totter is like every relationship that we're in right now. I'm thinking that I'm on one side and whoever I'm talking to is on the other side. And as long as we're both just kind of doing our thing, conversing and having the same consciousness around something, we kind of go back and forth and back and forth. But when someone jumps off and goes off on a tangent, boom, I hit like they just walk off and boom, I hit like they do. So the key is to stay as balanced as we can, look at each other and just know that there is this balance that's taking place. There is this give and take in consciousness between us and the people we're interacting with. Try not to go off the deep end. Try not to jump off the teeter-totter, because when you bail, the other person hits the ground too. My actions affect your actions, all right? We are living in mind, and there is nothing but mind and its manifestation. Right then and there, you begin to declare and make your declaration, the eternal truth of mind, then think. Think impersonally, and you must feel you are stating the truth about the universal. All right? Here we go. Let me unpack that for you. We are living in mind, and there is nothing but mind and its manifestation. I know, and this sounds really strange, that the universe, God is in this, it's going to sound counterintuitive. God is in the virus. It can't not be. Everything is God expressing. If everything is God expressing, then God is in the virus and God is in the health. God is in the scientists that are working to find tests and vaccines and medications. God is working through all of those things. So I have to know that that manifestation is happening right then and there. It is on its way. It is actively working itself through. Now, it may not work through in the timeline that we like. I mean, I'm from that generation of instant gratification, where it's, I have to have it now, right? But when we begin to declare and make our declaration of truth, knowing that this is unfolding and that we just continue to do what we do, we're on this big universal pause button in our own lives in many ways, then we just start to think, but think impersonally. This isn't about Joe. This isn't about Charles. This isn't about Trey. This isn't about my kids, my mom. And this isn't about us. This is about a universal intelligence that's working through this situation. Now, I may have personal feelings about the things that are going, but I have to think that the healing is happening in a very impersonal way. That the mechanics of the universe, which have always been the plastic side of the mechanics of the universe, are always working in my favor. It's always working in my favor. Just when something goes out of balance, there is something in the universal intelligence that's moving it back in. That gives you a bigger concept and a bigger receptivity for a bigger power. Once I start doing that, I feel empowered. And I have to tell you this, when I turn off the TV, I feel empowered. I really do. It takes me a few minutes to shake off what I hear, but then I feel empowered. I had an empowering moment the other day, and I shared it at a staff conference call that we had. I had this moment where Reverend Marion Whiteman came to mind. And Reverend Marion was my practitioner, and she used to sit right there all the time. And whenever I had a problem, I would just call Marion. In fact, there were times when I was being loaded into the back of an ambulance with a heart condition, and I remember just looking over to Trey and saying, call Marion. As I was being put into the back of the ambulance, call Marion. You know why? Because Marion was always my grounding force. I always knew that Marion could see through the condition and see it on the other side. So in my mind, I kind of had a conversation with Marion the other day. And as soon as I brought up her name, there was this, I felt lighter. I felt more confident. I'm like, what would Marion say? Kind of what would Jesus do? What would Marion say? What would Marion say? And I felt her presence going, come on, Joe. It's a pause button. Big deal. Move through this. Just keep moving. You're going to be okay. Do what you're supposed to do. But I heard her in a way not belittling, but kind of making fun of me and my panic, because she was never that way. She was always calm and clear. And at times she would be, now Joe, stop it. And she would just stop it. So we have to remind ourselves. And I'm telling you this because I know we'll get better results by actually doing that. We're going to get better results by just using this universal intelligence to just say, stop it. Just stop it. This is going to pass. Just stop. Next thing. Maybe. William, help me. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why this isn't working. While we admire the intellect, we must realize that the intellect is not the creative factor in the universe. Rather, it is feeling that is creative. So now we have an intellect that's doing out the mechanics, right? We have an intellect that is the machinery, right? And the universal law that is the machinery. Now it is guided by that creative influence, the thoughts. And so I have to make sure that I'm feeding the machinery the right stuff so that the machine works the way I want it to work. I have to make sure that I'm putting the right stuff into the machine so the machine is pushing out results that are in line with what I desire, not what I fear. So my mind, the creative part of my mind has to be talking to this part, here and here. There's the biggest, this distance is not, 18 inches. No, it is not 18 inches. Sometimes it can be miles and miles and miles apart. But I have to remember, while I admire the intellect and its mechanical ability, it's being fed by my belief and my emotions. So clearly define your belief and your emotions about not how you feel in this moment, because there may be a sense of fear, but how you know this is going to turn out for you. And don't put a question mark at all. Don't put the question mark like, I wonder. No, I know this to be my truth. That's why Charles is going to be teaching spiritual economics. You know why? Because there's something about living this life according to universal law. It is spiritual economics, the wealth of your entire life. And he's going to be teaching that, because that right now we get to decide how that looks. Follow that lightness in your heart, and it will eventually lead you to a life of purpose. Because right now a lot of people are just raising their hands, and I get it. A lot of people are lifting up their arms going, oh my God, what's going to come of me and my family, my finances, my retirement, whatever that is. Big old question marks, and I get it because I feel the same way too. But I also know that some of the biggest questions of the heart unfold as a path, not an answer. So sometimes I have to know I'm not going to wake up one day and go, boom, this is the answer. This is a path, and I'm going to have to follow the path to get there. It's not just going to wake up and I'm going to go, oh, okay, I figured this out. Because this is a real journey. And let's face it, they say that people may be sheltering in for the whole month of April and maybe parts into May, and that could be a real daunting idea. But just think of it, this is a journey, and I'm trying not to think too far ahead. I had to remind, Trey and I were talking the other day, and I just had to remind, it's like, he said, what are we doing tomorrow? I'm like, well, kind of the same thing we've been doing today, but let's not look that far. Let's just do what's in front of us right now. Let's make dinner, right? Let's do something right now. Only look at my right now. That's all I can do. My field is here to here. Here to the refrigerator and back here. That's where my field seems to be walking right now. Do what's in front of you right here. Let's know that this is a path, that there's not going to be a snap answer, but this is a path that we're going to journey into. Remember a long time ago, I used to say, day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Do you remember that? It's a mantra, it's a chant that we used to do. Day by day, in every way, I am getting better and better. And I want you to think about this, even though the numbers may indicate to the contrary, day by day, in every way, humanity is getting better and better. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to have an ebb and flow of certain conditions and statistics and write out, people making their transitions. But every day, we're moving into a place where things are going to get better. We're moving into it. It's a path. It's a process. As much as I wish I could just, do the, I Dream a Genie thing and make it change for all of us, that's just not in the cards right now. All right? So day by day. Ernest Holmes quotes the Bible in Proverbs. I love this. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So how are you thinking about yourself today? How are you thinking about your life? And remember, whatever you're thinking about and how you're looking at it is how it's going to unfold. So I get to choose. Do I want to be stressed out? Or do I want to have faith in this day? And give yourself a break. Karen Drucker and I were talking the other day, and she has this song about crying. You're allowed to be emotional about this. We're grieving parts of our life right now. We're grieving that there is this, I don't even want to call it a new normal, because I don't think we're even at new normal yet. We're we're baking the new normal right now. It's in the baking process. But the way we think about our life is the way it's going to unfold. And I know that I've got to make some choices, and so do you, about how do I see my life unfolding, not just in this moment, but a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Maybe I need to put that out there and just have this idea so that I'm thinking, I see myself and visualize myself as those things, and then come back to this moment and live as if those things are manifesting. In other words, live in the moment, do what's in front of me, but also in the back of your mind, know that this is what I am, and this is what I am working into. And then the fear begins to fall by the wayside. It does so because it can't go anywhere else, because you've overridden your thoughts of fear and anxiety with all the possibility and potential and something very concrete that you desire in your life. I want to close with one more thing. Jerry Lynn shared with this on a conference call, and I loved it. So it's something called "And the People Stayed Home." So I'm going to read it to you, all right? And people stayed home, and they read books and listened, and rested and exercised, and made art and played, and learned new ways of being, and stopped and listened deeper. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone danced, someone met their shadow, and people began to think differently, and people healed. And in the absence of people who lived in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, even the earth began to heal. And when the danger ended and the people found each other and they had made new choices and dreamed of new visions and created new ways of life, and they healed the earth completely just as they were healed themselves. This was written in 1869, when the cholera pandemic was moving through the world. 1869, and it's 2020. Those are some really wise words. It is time for us to know we're going to pray, we're going to meditate, we're changing the way we look at the world, we're changing the way we look at the climate, we're changing the way we treat one another. And we're going to heal not just ourselves, but there's going to be this universal healing that happens all over this planet as a result of this. Because it requires that we change. It requires that we move from here to there. Right now, I can only go from here to here. But when this is over with, from here to there, everyone is going to be a part of that. Everyone is going to be a part of that healing. Everyone is going to have been touched in some way, shape, or form by what has happened in the world today. There's going to be a commonality among all people and an awareness among all people that, look, this happened to all of us and we made it through this. And we're going to look at each other in new ways. And we're going to have new patterns and new normals, and that's okay. Maybe this is the universal wake-up call that we've been waiting for. Maybe we're going to be changing lives not one heart at a time, but by entire cultures at one time. Because we're going to put down those differences and see our oneness with other people, our unity with other people, and how whatever I'm doing is affecting other people, not just me, but other people as well. So that's just something to think about this week. That's just something to think about. How am I going to handle this? As I think, I'm going to become. That's a really tall order. What am I ready to become? And so ends your lesson. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Joe. As usual, powerful, powerful words for us in the community. We're so blessed by his leadership and the life of this center. We're very grateful. So let's move now this morning into our time of offering, where we get to share our gifts. I know there's going to be a few graphics up on the screen for you there where you can text in your offering. You can certainly go to the website and contribute through there. You can also call into the office. Live voice will be there to help you out. And, we're still committed to paying all of our employees. We've 26, 27 people on staff. We still have the roof process coming up. So we definitely appreciate all of your contributions during this time and how wonderfully blessed we are as a center and as a collective. So thank you for continuing to share your gift. Let's, as you hold your gift in your hand or you hold the idea of the gift in your mind, let's speak a word of blessing upon it and know that we continue to be mightily blessed by an infinite substance. That currency is an energy field that we participate with. It's not money in and of itself. Money is the symbol of an intention, of a consciousness. And together we join together once again as a collective consciousness, knowing that as we participate in this time of giving, that there is a current of energy flowing through us that emboldens us, empowers us to give and to receive the blessing of the day. So I'm grateful for this ritual. I call it good, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, community, for your love.
Here I am, my child. Take my hand. Here I am, my child. There's no worry anymore. You've made it home. Only peace is left in store. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. Ooh. Here I come. Here I come, my child. On the run, Here I come, my child. There's no pain in all the world. You've made it home. Brilliant gold and priceless pearls. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. Won't you stay forever? Forever. Together, there's nothing that we won't do. Comes the time to sleep. Comes the time to sleep. There's no worry anymore. You've made it home. Only peace is left in store. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home.